Well, we know, Coach, that you hadn't practiced since the 18th of December. You hadn't played since the 20th of December. And you've had issues all the way along trying to sort the team out. And then Tampa's been playing pretty regularly and are a pretty good team, and they came in here and showed the difference.
They're a very good basketball team. They're very well coached. They have a lot of talent. They're a very good basketball team. And, no excuses, Jim. I told our guys that before the game started tonight. No excuses, or this afternoon. No excuses. We got a second chance at life. We've been shut down, locked down, quarantined, all that stuff. And guys have been moaning about forfeiting games, and we want to play. So we got a chance to play today. Only problem was we only had a couple of guys turn up to play. Nako Ziegler, I want to hats off to Renako Ziegler. Played 38 minutes today and played his tail off. 10 for 20 shooting, 2 for 3 behind the arc, 1 for 1, 7 assists, only 1 turnover, 2 steals, 23 points, 3 rebounds. You can't ask for much more than Nako Ziegler brought to the game today. I thought he had a tremendous performance. Sean Halp, who's one of those guys that's been out and hadn't really hardly touched the ball in 3 weeks. Sean turned up at 18 points, 8 rebounds. He was our leading rebound. No, sorry. Mekhi Noble did have 9 rebounds. Sean was our second leading rebounder with 8 rebounds. But 4 for 9 behind the arc. 3 assists, only 2 turnovers, 3 steals. I thought Nako and Sean, as a backcourt, we got 41 points combined from those 2 guys. We had 11 rebounds, 10 assists, 5 steals from those 2 guys. I couldn't ask for any more than those 2 guys. After that, you got to look hard. Mekhi Noble played 22 minutes, had 10 points, 9 boards, but it was not a Mekhi Noble kind of performance. It was not a Mekhi Noble kind of game. Darrow Sullivan, I'm going to give credit to Darrow. He came off the bench for us, played almost 15 minutes in the game tonight. 7 points, 2 for 3 from the floor, knocked down a 3, made 2 free throws. I would have liked to have seen him get some rebounds, but he only had 1 turnover in those 15 minutes. About the only thing we didn't get out of him was rebounding and maybe a steal or 2 here and there, because he's a good defender, and he's long and he's athletic. But, I thought the best performance off the bench was probably Darrow Sullivan, and then we had 2 guys in the starting lineup that gave us a credible performance. But Tampa, if you look up there, Martin Lakovich, 13 points. Derek Felder, 12 points. Felder had 15 assists and only 1 turnover. Max Jones, 21 points, 6 assists, 1 turnover. Felder had 2 turnovers. Jonathan Bryant, 19 points. And off the bench, DeAndre Harvey with 13. They were 12 for 22 behind the arc tonight. They shot the lights out. And we're supposed to be a good defensive team. Today we were an awful team defensively. We had no legs under us. We stood around a lot. I thought that, at times it looked like defensively like we were standing in quicksand, Jim. We just couldn't get our feet off the floor. We were not aggressive enough. We were not intensive enough. I thought that Tampa played harder than we did. They played smarter than we did, and they played tougher than we did. They came to the game with a lot of toughness, a lot of basketball IQ, played really smart. And then, like I said, when you look at us, I thought we played soft for a lot of the game, and we didn't play very smart.
I thought a key moment down there was when Mekhi got the ball way out and tried to back his guy all the way in, and they called an offensive foul on him. Kind of took some wind out of his sail, I think, a little bit.
Well, we made a lot of bad decisions offensively tonight. We charged in times, and we didn't execute our offense very well. Our timing and spacing was poor. But what I was disappointed in, we had a great start. Elias Martin wins the opening tip of the game. We executed tip play. And Sean scores a layup on the first play of the game. We're up 2-0. Then we come down and Sean knocks down a big 3, and we got 5 on the board, and we're playing really well. So we had a nice spurt to start the game. Then all of a sudden, Jim, we looked up and we gave them 15 points in the first 4 minutes. And that first media timeout, we were down 15-5 after scoring the first 5 points of the game.
So 15-0 run.
And so all of a sudden I thought, defensively, we had a really bad lull. And then, after that, Jim, from that first media timeout to maybe the 10-minute mark of the first half, we defended great. And all of a sudden, we got the lead. If you remember, it was like 26-24.
28-26.
28-26. We were up in the lead. Might have been the last lead we had in the ball game.
Yeah.
But then the rest of the half, defensively, we died.
Yeah. I wonder why.
So we were up 28. You just said we were up 28-26. They finished the half on a 15-3 run.
Yeah.
They came back on a 15-0 run early in the half, and they finished the half on a 15-3 run. We were down 13 at the half. We lost by 20. The second half was 48-41. You dig yourself a hole like that against a good team like Tampa, it's hard to come out of it.
And what I noticed in the first 2 or 3 minutes of the second half, they made 3 threes in a row. Lakovic had 2 of them, and somebody else.
And we talked at halftime, Jim, about guys making threes that in the first half, we're down 13 at the half. But in the first half of the game, I'm going to go back and look and make sure I get the stat right on this. Tampa was 6 for 14 from 3 in the first half, and I believe all 6 of them were wide open threes. There was not a hand in their face. We didn't fly out and contest the shot. We gave up wide open looks. In the first half, Max Jones hit 3 threes, and all 3 of them were wide open.
Yeah.
We talked about never giving him a good look, shading his side of the floor, contesting every shot he took. We didn't do that. So in the first half, we gave up 6 open threes. That's 18 points. And we gave up 2 layups on uncontested layups where we made mistakes on the offensive end and they took off and got an uncontested layup on the other end. So I said, even if you take away 4 of the wide open threes, maybe you give up 2 wide open threes instead of 6. But you take away 4 of those and those 2 layups, and we might win the first half. One of the keys we said was you had to start well against this team. We couldn't afford to dig ourselves a hole and try to fight back, with a team that hasn't had a lot of reps lately in practice or in a game. So tonight, this was like starting a second season and starting all over from scratch without having any practices. So, again, no excuses, but I knew that we would have limited legs late in the ball game. We had to stay with them in the first half. And 2 runs, 15-0 run early in the first half and a 15-3 run to end the first half. Those 2 lulls by us defensively and offensively, because we didn't score anything in those 2 runs either. Those 2 lulls, those 5 minutes early in the first half and the last 5 minutes of the first half were the difference in the basketball game.
Well, I had Lakovic down for shooting 23% from the threes. I don't understand how he could make those 2 threes right out of the gate.
Wide open. The 23% he was shooting was with a hand in his face. Because other people defend that better than we did tonight. And, Jim, that's what disappoints me more than anything. As I said, I came into this saying no excuses. In the COVID era, when you get a chance to play, you got to come play and you give it everything you got because you don't know if you're going to play tomorrow. Wednesday night's game could be canceled. Next Saturday's game could be canceled. In the COVID era, you go day to day. You don't know what the next day is going to bring. You don't know what the next week's going to bring. You don't know when you're going to play your next game. You got to bring it. This is our floor. We got to take pride in this. Tampa turns up in here, and I know they've been practicing and playing since the break, but this is our house. We didn't do a good enough job. We didn't come play hard enough tonight defending our house, defending our court. We were 9-3 coming into this game tonight. Forget the COVID. I don't count forfeits.
Yeah, right.
I talk the games we played this year. We had played 12 games coming into tonight. We won 9 of them. We were 3-1 in the league coming into tonight. And if you've played that well all year, you've got a formula for success. Our success has been 2 things, rebounding and defending. And tonight, we got out-rebounded 36-35. Our top 2 rebounders, Mekhi Noble had 9, and Sean Halp had 8. Mate Pape had 3 rebounds in the game tonight. And he hasn't been one of the guys out. He's been on the court every day since we got back. But we got 3 rebounds in 20 minutes out of Mate tonight. We got 8 from Sean, 9 from Mekhi, 5 from Niall, 3 from Nako. We just didn't get enough rebounding. We had 35 boards. They had 36. So we didn't rebound well. And then when you look at how we defended, Jim. Coming into the game tonight, I think our opponents were shooting like 39 or 40, maybe 41% against us overall. And behind the arc, our opponents this year have only been shooting something like 28% against us for the whole season. Tonight, Tampa made 52% of their shots overall and 55% behind the arc. So I don't feel like we defended at all tonight. We just stood around out there and gave Tampa whatever they wanted. They were the stronger team. They were the more physical team. They were the tougher team. And the tougher, stronger, physical team won the game tonight. We were the softer team. We played soft defensively, and we executed soft on the offensive end of the floor. We didn't move the ball well. We didn't set good screens. Our timing and spacing was off. And like I said, hats off to Naco Ziegler and Sean Haupt. Those two guys came and gave a great performance. 23 from Naco, 18 from Sean, 8 rebounds from Sean, 7 assists from Naco. If we had a player of the game tonight, it'd be a co-player of the game. Naco Ziegler and Sean Haupt, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I noticed there were about 15 minutes of that game, Tampa wasn't playing anybody over 6'3".
No, but they play a 4-guard offense.
Yeah.
They start 4 guards.
Yeah.
So they didn't start no, tonight, actually, I take that back. Tonight, they actually started 2 forwards. They've been playing a 4-guard offense because a lot of times they've been starting Brown. Brown has been starting for them, and Brown didn't play a lot of minutes tonight. So tonight, they started Max Jones, Jonathan Bryant, Derek Felder as their 3 guards. And those guys are 6'4", 6'3", 6'2". But then Lado is 6'8", and Lakovic is 6'7". Yeah. So they went with 2 bigs in their starting lineup tonight. But they'll usually take a big out, and then they bring Brian Williams in, and they got 4 guards on the floor. Yeah. And the funny thing is, or they
bring Harvey in, and he's a guard.
Jonathan Bryant looks like he plays like a post player at times, but he's really a guard, He's 6'3", 205, and he can step out and shoot the ball. So Tampa have a lot of firepower. They can start 5 guys that can score in double figures. They've got a lot of shooters, and tonight I thought they played smart basketball. They played smarter than us, Jim. They played harder than we did tonight, and they played tougher than we did.
Yeah, in the paint it was even. We didn't have 13 turnovers, but they end up with 6 points to their advantage of that. And the bench was pretty much even.
Well, Tampa only turned the ball over 10 times tonight.
Yeah.
But they created better tonight. They had 27 assists tonight. We only had 16. But, I always say this, that's a misleading stat when you look at it, too, because you can't have assists if you don't make shots. And we only made 41% of our shots tonight. We only hit 31% of our threes. And one of those, Sean Haupt, made a circus 3.
Yeah.
That should be a highlight reel. For Division II college basketball, even though we lost the game, the shot that Sean Haupt made with the shot clock running out, defender in his face, and he leans back and throws up a 3 with his one. And now he's a left-handed shooter, so he did get it off, but he didn't even have both hands on the ball. It was just fling it up with my left hand, and he knocked it down. But great shooters have a way of putting the ball in the basket. And like I said, Sean's heart tonight and Naco Ziegler's heart were in it the entire game. So hats off to those 2 guys. They came to play. We didn't get a lot out of a whole lot of other guys, and you can't beat a good, solid, well-coached University of Tampa basketball team with 2 or 3 guys turning up to play. You got to have 5 or 6 guys to compete. Tampa had 6 or 7 guys who came to compete. We might have had 2 or 3.
Now you got to go on the road and play Barry, which is just about as tough as playing anybody else.
Well, the only difference is now is we will get 3 days of practice before we go down to Barry. So we're going to be back out here tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Rollins was holding their own with Nova for a long time, and then finally Nova pulled away at the last. Rollins up at half and up midway through the third.
Rollins has a good basketball team. They're well coached. Tom Klusman's a great coach, and they got a lot of talent at Rollins. And they should have maybe should have won last week. They didn't get their full squad. They had to bench 4 starters against Lynn University last week, on last Saturday, a week ago from today, under some very strange COVID protocol. I don't know what took place there, but they had to bench 4 starters. Only 4 players were benched. They were 4 starters, and that made it awful tough to win, even though they were at home. And but Rollins' record is misleading. They're a good basketball team. They're well coached. They've got a lot of shooters, a lot of talent, and they're smart. Rollins usually don't beat themselves, Jim, and so that's what you're looking at there is they got a good basketball team that very seldom beats themselves. I don't know what else was happening around the league tonight.
Yeah, well, they were 7-7. That's what they were. But the big game I wanted to watch was Emery-Riddle and Barry. That's a late start, 6 o'clock game started. So that we don't know anything about right now.
Those are two good basketball teams. So, no matter who wins the game, they're a good basketball team. I'd say that's kind of a game that might go right down to the wire. And, I don't know where it's being played at, but I'd probably give the edge to the home team.
All right, we're going to wrap it up here. And the Panthers are on the road Wednesday. They'll be down at Barry. You can tune them right in here on FloridaTechSports.com and listen to it. And it'll be on the road at Barry and hoping for the best, Coach.
Happy New Year, Jim, to you and all your family, to Mrs. Mitchell and all the family up in Charlotte. And Happy New Year to all of Panther Nation, all of our fans and alumni and friends out there who tune in and watch. Happy New Year to all of you. And I can just say the best thing about 2022 is our team is back. We're on the court. Maybe we didn't have our best game of the year tonight, but we'll fix our problems. We have our guys back. We're going to be healthy the rest of the way, and we're going to keep battling. So you keep watching. You keep pulling for us. We're going to keep battling and hopefully entertaining for you.
All right. See you Wednesday on the road. All right.
Thank you, Jim.